of sucks right now, man, because the Saints are not that exciting to talk about, which that's a feeling we have not had in a long time, right? Like, things even got bad last year and were certainly disappointing at times last year, but it was never like, I guess the conversation was never boring. You still always had discussion points. You had hope. You had things that you were maybe looking to grow on, and right now it just doesn't. I mean, we've broken it down. You're in a bit of purgatory. I mean, here we sit over halfway into the season, and maybe the most interesting conversation on the docket is whether or not, if Andy Dalton plays poorly and you lose to Pittsburgh, like, do you go back to Jameis Winston? And even that conversation, while maybe having some modicum of interest, is in and of itself disappointing. Because, again, you have a head coach you don't believe in. You have a front office that has completely eroded any goodwill. It is shocking. It's the old thing about reputation, right? It takes a lifetime to build up. It can be torn down in a day. It can take 15 years to build up and torn down in one CD Deuce trade. But, like, there's no real faith in the front office right now, which is a bit ironic given how good Chris Olave's been. But still, whatever. No faith in the front office, no head coach, no quarterback, no first-round pick. Awful place to be.
It's not great,
And here we are having to try to find something to talk about. And legitimately, Jake, I think the conversation is at quarterback, because I get it. Dalton's been good. Dalton's been good.
So
what if you lose to the Steelers on Sunday? But you've lost 4 or 5.
Yeah, but it's not quarterback. That's where I have the issue. And this is nothing against Jameis Winston. This is watching the tape and seeing the offense with Dalton comparing to Jameis. Andy Dalton still grades out at 83% in the NFL. He's been 83% quarterback on Pro Football Focus. Jameis has been 65%. So for me, it's not an Andy Dalton problem. Has Andy Dalton been a world beater? No, he has not. But he's put the offense in at least a position to be in the games, in my opinion. Now, on the outside, what you have there, that's been a struggle outside of Chris Olave because of injuries. You haven't had like the same group of receivers and tight ends to throw it to game in and game out. I mean, you've had so many guys banged up. Now, your offensive line has been okay outside of left guard, but even that's kind of shuffled itself a little bit. So I think it's just consistently getting the same guys out there on the field. Like Alvin Kamara had the game against the Raiders, and then you come back and like the Ravens game just wasn't the same guy. Like the Ravens came in with a plan like Alvin Kamara is not going to beat us, and you have to have other guys step up, and they just have not had that.
And I feel you on that. I just think that, like, the whole reason you went to Dalton was because you feel like he gave you the best chance to win. He had, the bad picks against the Cardinals. One of them not his fault. The other two, yes. He had the bad picks against the Ravens. Really, just the whole entire offense looked bad against Ravens. I just wonder if, like, and Andy Dalton's a much better quarterback than Trevor Siemian. So he was able to keep it going for longer than Siemian was. But remember, Siemian was flashing for a minute last year. And we're like, okay, like this is doable. But, Jake, you can speak to this better than anyone. Sure, you might catch a guy in the NFL maybe a bit unexpected for a week, maybe 2 weeks. But, like, every further week that they get on what Dalton and the Saints offense wants to be, combined with some of the personnel that they're missing, like it gets tougher and tougher for, I think, that Saints offense to find success. And granted, look, a lot of this, like, let's see what they do against the Steelers. Steelers are not good this year. If they go out there and they take care of business and they win that game, well, then Dalton gets to remain the quarterback. My point is, if the offense goes and looks like they've been completely figured out and they struggle horribly again, and you've now lost 4 out of 5, why not? You're paying Jameis. Why not go give him another shot? He won you the Atlanta game. Now he won it with Mike Thomas and Jarvis Landry. And so they're not there anymore? What's that look for?
I mean, they played 3 really bad quarters of offense, and then they came back in the 4th.
Yeah, but that doesn't – I mean, that was like the John Elway special back in the day, was playing bad and then coming back in the 4th like a beast.
You're comparing John Elway and Jameis Winston?
No, but I mean, what, you're going to say that he didn't win you the game?
I don't think there's any world where Andy Dalton goes 15-17, 200-plus yards, and has fourth quarter.
Y'all are just y'all's Jameis Winston thought process –
I'm not even saying that.
I think y'all are letting that preseason stuff creep into your mind right now.
I'm not even saying that Jameis.
Like any world, but you don't know that. Like you don't know.
Yeah, we've seen Andy Dalton late games.
I'm sitting here and I'm looking at the tape, and I have access to the tape, and I know what my eyes tell me. And again, this isn't a Andy Dalton is a world beater conversation. That is not it. And I do think the offense needs something else. But I just don't know that a quarterback change is going to give y'all what y'all are looking for.
Maybe it won't, but also I don't want to just keep losing with Andy Dalton if you're paying Jameis Winston. Let's see what now that he's healthy.
But you're not paying him enough to force
anything.
playing time.
If you're already going to lose either way, yeah, I think there is an argument to be made to see if Jameis Winston can do more with these weapons if he's healthy, and if not, so what? Throw your arms up. Like it doesn't matter. It's not going to get any worse. It's not going to get any better. Now, Dalton controls this, though. Dalton controls this. If he goes out and shows that, look, yeah, the Ravens may have kicked their ass, but they're the Ravens. Like, they're one of the top 5 teams in the AFC. Like, of course they did. We're not any good.
They've had a double-digit lead in every game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so there's no shame in that. And so if Andy Dalton goes out against the Steelers and does great, perfect. Then it's a meritocracy. Keep playing him. But if he looks bad and throws a couple more bad picks and can't win you game in a game situation, I'm down to give Jameis another shot. And see if he's healthy or whatever. If he can if he can do something at least maybe somewhat exciting. I mean, it doesn't matter. Neither guy feels like they are going to be the answer either way. So and that's why this sucks is that it's all kind of much ado about nothing. But it is something to watch on Sunday as to whether or not Dalton can maintain, because the original logic was Andy Dalton gives you the best chance to win the games. If you're not winning the games anyway, well, then that logic kind of loses a lot of its luster. We'll see. Saints Steelers coming up on Sunday.
Something else that when you're looking at the Saints and the Ravens game, they only ran for 48 yards on 15 attempts. And Taysom had 1 carry for 6 yards. He had 1 throw for 13 yards. Again, like, they've got to find a consistency there with what he's going to be for that team.
Yeah.
And when you're struggling offensively and you have a guy that you are paying, I mean, you're paying him real money, right? I mean, he's making a lot of money, and we've seen him flash. I'm not saying he's the quarterback. Like, we've tried that. Like, been there, done that. But he is a weapon on the team, and you have to find the right formula and how many plays and how much of that you want to get to. Because one game, it'll flash. The next game, he touches it twice.
Yeah.
It's like there's got to be something in there that's consistent for him, for the team, and for the expectations of what he can be for you.
I mean, I don't think they'll do it just because the time sink they put in getting him out of the quarterback room. But, like, to be clear, I wouldn't care if they wanted to try Taysom at quarterback. If you lose to the Steelers, it's all bets are off. It just kind of is what it is. Let's start evaluating the pieces. Who do you have going forward, and who can maybe be a part of the impending rebuild.